Sexy girlfriends, it's time for the Metal Hammer of Doom. And I am your host, the Mandated Reporter, and frankly I'm mortified, Mr. Mark Radulich. And joining me tonight is Mr. Conspiracy Theory himself. Did we land on the moon? He doubts it. Did Muslims fly planes into the two towers? Nope, it was George Bush with a remote control. Who shot Lee Harvey Oswald? We'll never know. Ladies and gentlemen, my co-host, Captain Conspiracy, Jesse Starcher. He don't trust anybody.
Oh, that is true. You don't trust the media. They're out there to fool you, okay? They're out there to just tell you something for you to believe. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you right now, do not believe it. I don't trust them. You shouldn't trust them. Does Papa Roach trust them? We'll find out by the end of this album.
That's right. That's what we're going to review tonight. This is the lamest intro to any podcast, by the
way. That's all right. We'll make it through, I think.
We are going to be reviewing the new Papa Roach album. Who do you trust? Who do you trust, Jesse Starcher? It was released January 18th, 2019. It is their 10th studio album. It features 12 tracks. The lead singles were Renegade Music, not Renegades of Funk, but Renegade Music. And Who Do You Trust? They've actually released a few more since then. It was Who Do You Trust, October 5th, 2018. Renegade Music, same day. Not the Only One was November 16th, and their last single that they released was Elevate. Elevation! Remember that song?
How many singles altogether? 4?
4 singles, buddy.
Wow, that's a lot of preparation for this album to come out. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. We did a Metal Hammer of Doom extra on the video for Who Do You Trust? And it was a pants-off dance-off, I tell you what.
There was some funny stuff that had been alluded to and actually happened in the media, specifically that Weather Channel stuff. Had you actually seen that clip from the Weather Channel?
I may have in a montage of other stuff.
Okay, yeah, it was ridiculous. I mean, they had come under a lot of heat for somebody acting like it was a bunch of wind. And here come this, one guy just walking up the back. I think it was 2 guys just walking up the back, no problem whatsoever. This, the news reporter looked like he's about to fall over. Then there were plenty of pictures of, who was it, Anderson Cooper, like up to his waist in water. But then like another picture had been taken like shortly before that, and they're only like up to their ankles. It's ridiculous. So yeah, I don't trust the media. Papa Roach don't trust the media, and they did a great job showing that in that video that they released. I loved it.
Indeed. I haven't listened to Papa Roach since they were young punks wearing sweaters talking about their last resort. Man, looking at this discography, yeah, I'm right there with you. My gosh, there have been so many albums in between then and now. It's interesting to jump into this with having no idea what came before it up until 2000. What was that, 2001? Yeah, it was something like that.
2000. No, 2000 came Infest. I had Last Resort on it. And I think I know a good bit off of that album, but nothing after.
So I really didn't know what to expect with this. I mean, I halfway expected it to be just another rap metal album, which is fine. We do love our rap metal because they fly over. You know what I'm talking about.
What'd you say?
I said, oh, you missed the joke. Okay, let me start again. Take 2. I do love that the rap metal genre because they fly over.
Oh, I get it now. Yes, sir. The drones.
I'm glad we're all on the same page now.
Sorry. As soon as you started talking, guess who? The door opened and Colton came.
Oh, Jesus.
So
did you give him his bread and water?
Believe it or not. He's got something in his hand here. What do you want there, buddy? You want some tea? You have to go ask your sister. Go ask your sister, please. Thank you very much. Go ask your sister. All right. Continue, Mark Radulich.
Before we started the show tonight, Jesse Starcher and I we're planning the summer vacation. The Starchers meet the Raduliches. Laughter will ensue. And here's the problem. I don't know about this trip now because I don't want your kids influencing my children to never go to sleep.
And
stay up all night.
4 o'clock last night. 4 o'clock in the morning, I woke up because Colton come in and asked me for something, and I remember sitting there going, had he been to bed yet? Because it was 1 o'clock when he had come and got me earlier. So I don't think he'd actually got to sleep until 4 or 4:30. And I was like, the naps have got to stop. I'm going to have to call the preschool. Okay, nap time does not need to exist anymore. I just cannot wait till kindergarten. There will be no naps be taken by then, and there will be sleepy kids come 9 o'clock.
I think my favorite thing recently is my friend got me to download Kids Messenger for my daughter on her phone. No, she with this phone, it's really for her to listen to music on Spotify, watch some videos or whatever. It's kind of basically like a mini tablet. The other thing is, on the occasion that she gets left home alone, which is starting to happen a little bit more now since she turned 8, she's got the phone there to call us in case there's a problem. Well, she likes to send little messages out on Kids Messenger. So I consistently get messages from her. And one night, apparently her ear hurt, but she didn't want to wake anyone, so she sent me a text.
Oh, really?
She wouldn't get out of bed, Jesse Starcher, because we told her, don't get out of bed. Don't bother us. So
your text.
So she was like, they got to know, Tommy. So she had to tell us, but she wanted to obey. So instead, she found the middle ground. She sent the text out. All right.
Classic.
So yeah. So this album's a little weird, a little different, a little old, a little blue. I didn't really know what to expect from Papa Roach, and then what I did expect, they defied expectations. They subverted expectations, Jesse Starcher, much like The Last Jedi. So let's go ahead and dig into this thing and see what it's all about, and see if by the end of it we can at least trust Papa Roach.
Okay.
All right. So our first song of the night here from Who Do You Trust is The Ending. Jesse.
Yo.
Do you remember when we talked about Ministry and how in the 90s Ministry kind of crossed over, Nine Inch Nails crossed over, and out of this kind of rose the mid-90s mainstream industrial scene, which lasted for about 5 minutes. Because
yes.
That's what this first track kind of reminds me of. Before the show started, I sent you, I think, a God Lives Underwater song. But, I was listening to... I was trying to refamiliarize myself with that genre. God Lives Underwater, Gravity Kill, Stabbing Westward, some others. I don't know if you agree or not, but this first track definitely reminded me of that era of those types of industrial bands.
Yeah, that's stuff that kind of passed me by back in the day, so I didn't really give it a whole lot of attention. I was too busy listening to other stuff, I think, then.
Listening rap.
I wouldn't call E40 easy listening, but whatever.
You were
but
listening
yeah,
to Don No Soul Jones. Now tie a yellow ribbon round the old oak tree. It's been 10 long years. Do you still want me?
No.
Oh, tie a yellow ribbon
No.
round the
That was not what I was listening to.
old oak tree.
But the ending was actually, I didn't mind it. I thought it was actually pretty good here for a solid opener, I think. There's like some minimal pop elements in it, but it was enough to kind of get me excited as to what was going to come. I didn't expect this from Papa Roach, but then again, it wasn't something that completely caught me off guard. It was something I was like, okay, well, this band's evolved a little bit. I could feel this, and I was, like I said, kind of excited to see what else was going to come after this. So, but yeah, as that industrial feel that you're talking about, I've had some exposure to that. Being on the Metal Hammer of Doom and everything. You
right.
have, you showed me, so I could feel it.
All right, let's keep the party rolling here. As I said before, these are not the renegades of funk, but rather there's renegade music.
Nothing changes until the people get loud. So get down! Everybody get down! Take it to another level right now! No resolution! Stand up, this is renegade music! Everybody get down! Take back your life right now! Are you ready for some new shit? Stand up, this is renegade music!
Oh, Jesse. Chris Bailey. Are you ready for some new shit?
Listen, all of y'all, this is Sabotage. As a matter of fact, if you listen to this, it is feel an awful lot like Sabotage. I couldn't get over that.
I didn't hear it. I even that second time around, it didn't occur to me.
Are
until
you
said
kidding
something.
Me? Are you kidding me?
So should I play it again?
There's no way that you can create a song with that specific. What is he hitting there? He's hitting the drum or a cymbal or something. Dun 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 dun, and it's almost exactly spaced like that song. Just listen to like the first. Once the drum starts kicking in, so before the vocals even hit. Go ahead and play it one more time.
All right, here we go.
Listen, all of y'all, this is Sabotage. Listen, all of y'all, this is Sabotage. Listen, all of y'all, this is Sabotage.
It's dark outside, a world on fire.
Okay, yeah, I can see like at the beginning, like as you were singing along, like, but then as soon as he broke into like the main part of the song, it was drastically different.
No, I again would have to disagree. When he starts getting into like, this is renegade music, all I want to do is yell, this is Sabotage.
Okay. I need maybe I need to give it a few more listens to see to get where you are with this, but it honestly, like, I didn't hear I didn't get Sabotage from this. I just didn't.
Okay, if we set that aside, okay, if I set that aside, I will tell you that this song's still good.
Yeah,
it's still heavy enough for me. I mean, I actually enjoyed it, and I thought that they kept the pace up real nice here. And at this point, I'm not unimpressed with Papa Roach and what they're delivering here on this album. So,
No, so
I
far
still like the song.
So far, it's a very entertaining album.
I agree.
All right, let's keep going here. Let's not waste any time. This next one is called "Not the Only One."
I was screwed up. I was angry at the world. I feel like I was a loser. I had a chip on my shoulder then, in a low place. Wishing I was anywhere else but there, on a California highway. I was broke, but I always had time to spare. You know hard times always come easy, but they never last long. If you feel alone when you're down, just know you're not the only one. You know hard times always come easy, but they never last long. If you feel alone when you're down, just know you're not the only one. You're not the only one. You're not the only one.
You know, interesting thing about this album was we're 3 tracks in, and they're 3 distinctly different tracks. I mean,
Yes.
there's one line you can draw that it's got that there's a soul, and I really don't know what other word to use because I don't want to necessarily say rap, and I don't want to necessarily say pop, and I don't want to necessarily say R&B, but something that sort of incorporates all those things without being exclusively those things. And the only word I can come up with is soul. You got to have soul, Jesse. Every single one of these has one commonality, and that is they have all got soul. And
Okay.
but if soul is the spine of all of these songs, then on those spines they're dressed very differently. The ending, Renegade Music, Not the Only One, very distinctly different songs with the soul bass.
Dynamic is the word that I was coming up with there, as how they are able to, right now, just like you said, we're 3 songs in, and if you listen to his vocals here in this song, they're extremely unique to the rest of, at least in some part, to the rest of this album. You're not going to find him singing or, doing vocals like that on the rest of this album. And then you hear his signature stuff as like in the chorus and stuff like that. But you ever heard of the group Gorillaz? I'm sure you have.
I'm happy. I'm feeling sad. I got sunshine in a back. No, I've never heard of them.
Okay. For some reason, that's what this song reminded me of, like, something that came out of some of their more popular stuff. But yeah, it's a good positive song. It's very much we've talked about positive metal and positive lyrics. That's what it reminds me of. It's clearly about somebody who was telling somebody else, hey, you're not alone here. And we're all kind of suffering, and everybody has bad days, but just remember, you're not by yourself. So I like that. I thought that was a good message. There's some, does hip hop, does that translate to you at all in this song? I mean, that's kind of the word or the description that I use. Like, there's some real, like, recent, I don't know if it's called hip hop anymore, Mark, but I've heard elements of what we hear now and stuff, especially on track 3. And the first 2 tracks, they felt more heavy to me. This one feels like we're kind of going a little bit more mainstream and using some things from that. I guess.
You got your daughter to listen to something. Now, your daughter likes the K-pop. She's not into the metal as near as I can tell. When you played this for her, what was her reaction?
There's a few songs on here that remind her of a few bands, one of which was Panic at the Disco. The other was...
I could get that. I'm hearing some Fall Out Boy, especially with that last one.
She mentioned that one. She mentioned... oh, my gosh. There's a band name with romance. Hold on. what the hell is
My Chemical
Thank
Romance.
you, My Chemical Romance. Yes, My Chemical Romance. And the other one that she used was Imagine Dragons.
Okay.
So that and you will wait. We got one more track, and then all of a sudden, I think things start changing. And I played her Elevate, which we will get to, and that's where I was like, okay, what do you hear here? Because I know that you've played things from this song, or played things that sound like this song. So,
all right. Well, now we get to our Metal Hammer of Doom track. This is a very when I think about Last Resort, this one sounds very Papa Roachy. This one is Who Do You Trust?
And the roaches, never turn my back to the vultures. I'ma need to check on your coats, cause you never know when the enemy approaches. Who do you trust? Tell me, who do you trust? I see him coming at us, but when the Molotov drops, tell me, who do you trust? Everywhere I go, I see people passing by. They keep staring back at me like some freaking paradise. Are you people savage? Pull the knife out from my back. In the company of rich, I'll take royalty over royalty. Who do you trust? Tell me, who do you trust? I see him coming at us, but when the Molotov drops, tell me, who do you trust? Who do you trust? Tell me, who do you trust? I see him coming at us, but when the Molotov drops, tell me, who do you trust?
Oh, when the Molotov drops, tell me, who do you trust, Jesse Starcher?
Loyalty over royalty, sir.
Goddamn
That's right. Top 3 off the album for me. What do you think?
Oh, easily.
Yeah, good one. I think this is probably. Oh man, I wish I had the singles on there, but I really dug this one off of here, and I think it's probably a smart one to kind of grab those faithful Papa Roach fans that liked them from back in the day as well. So it just like you said, it feels like a Papa Roach song to me, and a good video to boot, sir.
Yeah, that was a fun video. I think that I don't have a whole lot to say about that one. I mean, it definitely had that rap metal feel to it. Obviously, it had a message that I think is pretty well believed by a lot of bands out there, like the media.
Somebody get a hold of what's his name from Five Finger Death Punch.
Well, every time what it is, every time I hear this, all I hear is OTEP. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. Yep. Now OTEP, oh boy.
Oh
boy.
I'm a boss, bitch, not a boss, bitch.
Oh my goodness.
So,
Shemaya,
but I mean,
Shemaya Ding Dong.
Shemaya Ding Dong, yes. But here's the thing, like, I didn't necessarily get like a negative vibe from the song. You know what I mean? Like, they were. I think they were like having fun with the idea. I guess. You know, and I didn't necessarily get like a lot of anger and negativity. I got, hey, it's fun to ask questions. It's fun it's fun to kind of take a look at things and be skeptical. And let's dance around like a bunch of idiots.
Yeah, it's got a message to it that like I said, who do you trust? Is it the media? A lot of it is about find out who your friends truly are, and that's the people that you want to believe. Those are the ones that are not going to stab you in the back. Those are the ones that are going to tell you the truth.
I wouldn't go that far.
Usually.
I had some friends that are no longer friends.
Wah, wah, wah. Awkward.
Controversial.
Controversial.
All right. Speaking of controversial, this next...
Oh, my goodness. And that fits, too, believe it or not. You're not just making a stupid segue here. That fits.
None of my segues are stupid. This is... This is Elevate. You know, your daughter mentioned bands from the emo
Yes.
genre, you know, like My Chemical Romance and Fall Out Boy, and boy, she really hit the fucking nail on the head.
Fucking elevate, dude. I mean, like, if there was a genre change horse and you're on it, you better yell, whoa. Because, I mean, this fucking thing took a left turn.
Whoa, Nelly.
Whoa, wait a second now. This is the point in which I'm sitting there at work and I have to check my phone because every once in a while Kira will say, hey, Dad, let me see your phone. And as I take her to school, she loads up the queue with K-pop and whatever, the stuff that we had already talked about. And I'm sitting there like, okay, she's messed with the queue again. Here we fucking go. So I got to go back to Spotify and change it back over to the Papa Roach album. Wait a second. I'm still on the Papa Roach album. So, yeah, this took me by complete surprise. Not only that, you know, I remember, I think I actually made it past this song into the next one. And I was still like, okay, something has gone wrong here. There is still some stuff that needs to be fixed. But no, this just was completely out of left field. Now, again, people, if you're listening to this and you are a Papa Roach fan from when they started and listened to every album up until now, I am completely absent-minded as to what came between 2000 and 2019. That's a lot of time. That is a lot of time. But for this album to be produced like this, I wasn't expecting it at all. There is so much pop, kind of like mainstream elements in this song that I think it is probably, well, I don't know. I don't know if it's the most mainstream off here because my notes have another song on this album that says, this is the most mainstream one. So either way, it's a shock to the system. It's a good, positive song yet again. And you talked about emotions.
Shock the system. The
hell is that?
Shock the system.
Okay. Nope.
No.
Not ringing any bells, sir.
Take a drink. It's the theme music to the Adam Cole and the other two dudes. NXT.
Nope.
Fuck. What the hell?
Nope.
What the hell? Not the independent era. The undisputed era.
Undisputed era. Okay. Got it.
Shock
Pay
the
it.
system.
Ladies and gentlemen, check us out there in April when we do our WrestleMania show and we talk about all sorts of great wrestling themes. This might make the list.
I'm just going to play the Ultimate Warriors theme 12 times.
What did you pick, Jesse? Oh, it was the Ultimate Warrior. No, sir, it wasn't that. No, wait a second. That's what you picked.
Hey, let's hear that song again.
Tune in. Is April? April's when that WrestleMania is, right? Or
Yes,
is
it
it
is,
March?
sir. Yes, it is.
Okay, just making sure.
Hulk
Making sure.
Hogan.
Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan. Hogan, take the wheel of the airplane into a nosedive.
I was watching first thing in a long time that I've watched wrestling related, like via YouTube, was a top 10 of Royal Rumble entrances or debuts. Taz was number 1 for me, but somehow he ranked it like number 3. You remember when Taz debuted and like choked out Kurt Angle?
Yep.
Oh, it's great. It's great stuff.
That whole pay-per-view was really good from what I remember, because I believe that's the one where they did the Hell in the Cell with Foley and Triple H. It was either that one or they did like a last man standing match where he was like Cactus Jack.
I rarely watched wrestling with my dad, but there was a point in like the 2000 to 2001 era where my dad was able to get pay-per-views for free somehow. All right, I don't know how, but he was able to do that, and somehow I convinced him to let me and like all my buddies come up there once a month and sit there and watch wrestling. And I remember my dad's reaction to some of the shit that Foley did, and wow, oh, that was great. Was that the one with the fucking cab like hanging off in New York, or was that a different
Yes.
See,
Yeah, at least
it
at
was?
least one
Okay.
of them was in New York City. Yeah.
Okay, I remember like the cab hanging out in like the fucking stands or something. Good times, Mark Radulich.
Yes,
Good time.
indeedy. All right. Yes, indeedy. Soft and meaty.
Tasty, tasty, buddy.
All right. This next one is not When I Come Around. It's just Come Around.
In between a rock and a hard place, trying to find your way through the dark days, but you don't know how. You flip the world upside down, and right now you don't want to show it, 'cause you don't think that anyone will notice, till you tell someone you feel like you're the only one, and everybody says they're fine, but I know we're not alright. Everybody says they're fine, but I know we're not alright. I know we're not alright. It's always darkest just before the light. I know your silence is a deadly sound. It's never easy when you're breaking down, but I'll be there when you come around. Face down in the days that we wasted, trying to find our way through the mazes. We can wait this out, walk through that fire somehow. You're trying to put together all the pieces, when you should turn around now and leave them. 'Cause you can lose your mind, trying to live back in time. And everybody says they're fine, but I know we're not alright. Everybody says they're fine, but I know we're not alright. I know we're not alright. It's always darkest just before the light. I know your silence is a deadly sound. It's never easy when you're breaking down, but I'll be there when you come around.
Jesse, I'll be there when you come around.
Oh, boy, I don't know about this one.
I like this.
Well, I mean,
I'm really enjoying
okay.
this album. I mean, like, here's the thing. This is one of those where if you played this for me 20 years ago, I'd have been like, no, this is fag music. Go fuck yourself. But, music for homos. That's what I would have called it. But,
oh boy,
do you like faggoty?
10,000 dislikes.
Do you like faggoty? This one's for you.
Oh no.
But
Who knew?
I have grown up since then. I have gotten over a lot of my humps, my lovely lady lumps.
Oh,
And my boss sent me a text message today. Let me see if I can find it really quick.
Mid-thought, motherfucker got derailed.
I have a lot of deep thoughts. Oh, all right. So I sent her a text that, hey, I'm caught behind the train. So she says, good grief, man. Then she sent me a shit emoji. And then when I finally pulled into the parking lot, I said, I'm here. And then she gave me a thumbs up and then a one-humped camel. So in honor of Elijah Schlesinger, I sent her back fried shrimp.
Sure. Explain that shit to me, because I have no idea.
Which part?
Who is Elijah? Who? Elijah what?
Elijah.
Schrodinger's cat?
Elijah. He shows up for Passover. No. Eliza.
Okay. I have no idea.
Which part?
Say it again?
Do you not understand? Do you not know what Passover is?
No, I understand what Passover. Are we going to have inside joke inception again? Is that what's going to happen? We're gonna continually go
Is that what we're
like
calling
this-
it now? Inside joke inception. It's a joke.
We're
inside
just
of it.
continually, but it's just like every yeah, okay.
If the
Tell
top
me.
is spinning, I'm spewing nonsense. Okay, so Passover is a Jewish holiday, and
Okay.
when you have Passover, I believe you set out a place for Elijah.
Oh, okay. So like, there's this like empty place
Yeah.
for
You set out a place setting, and Elijah is supposed to come to your Passover table.
Oh, like in spirit form, or
Yes.
like,
No,
or if he doesn't show up, you're
no,
fucked.
like in fucking Voltron form. He shows up with all of Elijah shows up with all of his Jewish lions. Rawr.
I wasn't expecting this.
Nobody expects the Jewish Inquisition.
I knew it.
All right, so that covers that. But I
Okay.
wasn't talking about Elijah or Passover. I said Eliza
Eliza
Schlesinger.
Schlesinger. Okay.
Yes. So she did a show called Freezing Hot. It was a stand-up special, and she was talking about that she went on like an adult date. You know, she's going through this whole thing about how, you know, she's in her 30s and she's got to date, you know, she's got to date like more respectable men, and she's got to herself be a little bit more respectable. She can't be, you know, hotsy totsy like she was in her 20s. So without going into the whole routine, like she's talking about like how she had to buy a blouse, which she did a side routine about fuck a silk blouse because, you know, you're not an old maid, that sort of thing. Well, at one point. She went in at the end of the date, which was not a particularly hot date, but she went in for a kiss on the date, and the guy gave her the cheek instead of the lips, and she took that as sexual rejection, and then she got a text from him later, wanted to kiss you but had to get up early.
Okay.
So her reaction was, if you're going to send me a text that's stupid, you don't even get you don't even get the dignity of a text back that will make any sense. So
okay.
So she sent him a fried shrimp emoji. She's like, think about that, motherfucker.
Just sitting there like, what does she mean? What does she mean?
So, by the way, so I've been doing this all day, but the fried shrimp thing. Like, you know, my wife heard the bit, so she at least knew the context. Because at one point, like, we were going back and forth. The other really funny thing she says in this bit is she was talking about like girls going for tapas. You know what tapas is, right?
No, I don't know what that is. I've heard of it, but I don't know what it is. Tell me what it is, Mark.
Did you hear the Glass episode yet? The Glass Damn You Hollywood? Because in that episode,
no.
I told Robert Winfrey that you and him, every time I have to deal with you two, it's like talking to Moscow on the Hudson. It's like you guys. It's just not from here. They're not American.
Yeah. You continue with the references. You continue with them.
God
you
damn
haven't
it.
learned. It's your fault, motherfucker.
Moscow on the Hudson was a Robin Williams movie.
Film.
Yes,
I have not seen it. I'm certain he's a fish out of water and doesn't understand the American way.
Of course you haven't.
Fuck you.
Yeah, you and Robert Winfrey are both Moscow on the Hudson for me.
Okay, all right.
In Russia, that's what I expect you to say every time. In Soviet Union.
One of these days.
So anyway, yeah, when I meet you in person, I'm wearing a cup. I just want you to know that. I'm wearing iron underwear. Where was I? Oh, so she's talking about, so what's tapas? Okay, so tapas is small plates with like appetizer-sized food.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay.
Just can't call it. Okay, got it.
Apparently, it's something they do in Spain that we've brought over here to America.
I thought it was like a dish of some sort. So, but no, it's small dishes of appetizers.
Yeah, small plates.
All
Okay.
Got it.
So she's talking about going out with her girlfriends and like someone suggesting tapas. And she's like, this is not something guys do. Guys don't order one meatball and split it 4 ways. No homo.
Jeez.
So, my wife and I were texting each other back and forth at one point today, and we were talking about the fact that Hulu is dropping their prices. So if you do the ad supported plan, it would, instead of $7.99, it'll be $5.99.
Ooh, that's cheap.
So she was like, "How much is Hulu without the ads?" So I sent her the guy shrugging one, and then for shits and giggles, I sent her a fried shrimp. So she wrote me back, meatball 4 ways, no homo. And then I asked her if she wanted a flatbread, and then she said, "Babe, is it cold outside?" and then I said pumpkin spice everything, and then she stopped.
That's complete nonsense. That's all that is.
That is one long inside joke
Oh my
from a
gosh.
stand-up routine that she and I listened to while we were on our little weekend getaway. I hope everyone found that as entertaining as I did.
Yeah, that was... At least now we somewhat understand what goes on in that melon of yours, sir. Somewhat.
Do you think my daughter has ADHD? And maybe you've gotten it from me?
Is there a line in Vegas I can put money on right now? Because I would do it. I would say that's an affirmative. I mean, your wife has to have the patience of a saint for the type of work that she does. So I know that she probably would really be suffering with that position. You, sir, on the other hand, have completely shown day in and day out on podcasts that I do with you how bad your ADHD is.
I blame it on my ADD. Sale! All right.
Oh, dear Lord. What is the next song? Papa Roach, save me now.
All right. Let's move on to our next song here. This is Feel Like Home.
Trying not to show our age. I know you said you needed space, so you moved all the furniture around this place. Oh, I hate this feeling. You don't feel like home. Oh, I hate this feeling. You don't feel like home. It's getting dark at Sunset Park. I see the marks on your broken heart. I'm trying not to let it get to me, but it's hard with all our history. Leaving town while the city sleeps. You know I always had bigger dreams. I keep looking in the rearview mirror, even though I wasn't happy here. Oh, I hate this feeling. You don't feel like home.
You know, what I was trying to say before and then got distracted with my own crapulence is my own inside joke inception is that I can much more tolerate an album like this now because not everything has to sound like Pantera.
Yeah.
But I would definitely say this. If I have to come up with a criticism, I would say outside of maybe one or two songs, this album utterly lacks any kind of aggressiveness, any kind of anger, any kind of edge to it. This absolutely feels like an emo album.
Yeah, you're kind of touching on what I'm going to cover in my overall thoughts, where it's like if you had the opportunity to, say, listen to albums before you schedule them, 5 years in advance, you would probably have left this one off the schedule. That's my feeling. It's like, dude, what else was released when this got released?
All right, January 18th.
And you take a look at some of the other bands that released albums at that point in time, and you had the opportunity to listen to this before making the decision to put it on the network, I think you probably would have picked something else.
All right, well, I got my phone out. First, let me see how I'm doing on 401 Mania Fact or Fiction.
No, don't do that. Just go find the albums. Don't get distracted, sir. Stay on target. Stay on target.
Hang on, I got a lot of porn open.
Do not engage. Do not engage.
That's a deep cut, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even think I talked about that on air. Well, I'm currently winning 10 votes to 5 votes. Yay. All right, I gotta shut that porn window, Um,
No wonder you get beach balls. Oh, you're on your phone. My bad.
my wife asked me earlier, like, she criticized me about something, and I was mad about it for 2 or 3 days. And she's like, "What are you gonna do when you have 2 hormonal women in the house?" She's talking about Lily when Lily goes through puberty, and I was just I don't know, find other women to sleep with and stay at their house.
Did she not find that funny?
If rolling eyes could have somehow affected me physically, I might have had a stroke.
Yeah, you would have been hurt. You would have been a hurting.
Let's see. Heavy metal albums 2019. What do you mean the site can't be reached?
Site can't be reached. I'm
right.
curious because, Papa Roach was...
Right, hang on. Here we go.
Okay.
Ready? January 18th, first album, A Pale Horse Named Death, which we're doing next week.
Okay,
Arch Enemy
can't come
Arch Enemy Covered in Blood is
Well.
going to be dealt with in October.
Oh, wow, okay.
That's a covers album. Get it? Covered in Blood.
I got it.
Cane Hill, which is an Kill the Sun EP. Flotsam and Jetsam. Flotsam and Jetsam, Jesse.
That's a fucking metal band?
Yeah, Flotsam and Jetsam. They've been around forever.
I was going to say I've heard the name, but I don't know if I've ever heard anything from them, so...
I feel like they played with Fear Factory back in the day. I was one of 3 people who showed up to that, and 2 of them were roadies.
They had to be there.
Lemuria, never heard of them. Malevolent Creation, it's fucking death metal. Oomph. It's called Oomph.
All right.
Papa Roach, Who Do You Trust?
Yeah.
Raven has a live album. And then Rift Terra.
Rift Terra.
Rift Terra. R-I-F-F-T-E-R.
What is that? Who are they? That sounds like a gimmick band almost.
Really, more so than Oomph?
Well, Rift Terra, how do you spell it?
R-I-F-F-T-E-R-A is a Finnish metal band formed in Vasa in 2010. Vasa, Wales, which is in Africa.
Right at the top of Africa, if I remember correctly.
Their
My
music
geography ain't that great.
Their music is influenced especially by melodic death metal and thrash metal. Rift Terra's debut album, Pitch Black, was released in 2015 and reached position 37 in the official Finnish charts.
Okay. Official. Well, I mean, that kind of... When you say melodic death metal, we just covered Slossenbog, or Soilwork, whatever it was called there, the Vlachentagel. Friggin' Lighten, friggin' Laven. Now, so we went melodic there last week. Here,
Hang on. Oomph. O-M-O-O-M-P-H. Exclamation mark. Oomph is a German rock band from Wolfsburg, formed in 1989. The band pioneered the German dance metal movement.
Well, here's the thing. Dance metal... I've told you about a dance metal band on here before. I think we may have played something during one of our year-end specials there, I think, like last year or something. But that has a spot. I've listened to that before. So, okay. I mean, I understand what you're saying. This might have stuck out as probably the most accessible.
Yes.
That would probably be... I could understand.
Accessible is definitely a word.
Yeah, that's a word. And that describes what we got here. This is absolutely accessible.
Yep.
We just did what? Was it Far From Home? What was the name of that one? No. Come Home? Come Around? Feel Like Home? There we go. Feel Like Home. So, yeah, just my thoughts on that song. And Come Around as well. I don't know if you could say Come Around was a hard rock song or not. It was pretty laid back. And Feel Like Home is... Have you ever heard of the band Collective Soul?
Yeah.
Okay.
God, what were they famous for?
There was quite a few songs that they did that were really good. Shine was one of them.
Shine, that's what I'm thinking of. Whoa, never let your light shine on.
Yeah, so...
You ever hear Breakfast at Tiffany's?
Yes, I have.
And Benjamin said, what about
I know what
breakfast?
They said. You don't have to remind me. But Benjamin J. Cologne shared something on his Facebook page, and I was like, man, I completely forgot about that band. So I went back and listened to the albums that I was listening to back in '95, and the last two songs we got here on Papa Roach felt like something that I would have heard off of that
Sound like
album.
Breakfast at Tiffany's?
No, sir.
And I said, what about breakfast at
Tiffany's? And she said, well, that's the one thing we got. All right.
Hey, jealousy.
How many problems do you got, Mark Radlich? Because that'd be a great way to segue into this next one.
You ever notice that, like, I'm not completely enraptured by the album that we're doing, if I don't have a lot to say, I just go off in all kinds of directions. Like, it's, I basically become like a toddler that you can't control.
You do your best to not talk about the album. Is what it is. You have a review show on an album that you chose, and you do your best, like, okay, I'm not into this. Let's not talk about it. But let's play a song in between not talking about it. Sound good? Okay.
That is exactly right. I'm just here to listen to music and talk nonsense.
Welcome to the Metal Hammer of Doom. If you're new listeners, this is what you're going to get if the album is just an album.
Yeah.
Nothing else to talk about.
I got 99 problems, but research ain't one. Hit me.
Hit me.
All right. Here we go. This is Problems.
I could turn my life from a good dream to living in a nightmare, ruining a good thing. Probably couldn't tell you how I got here. Bottom of the barrel, I've been hanging here a lot. I've always done what I want. Just give me one more chance to mess it up. I got pain in my mind and heart. I can never stop it once it starts. Something in the way like a bull I charge. I only ever hurt myself. I got problems. I got problems. I know I'm not perfect, but I'm trying. When I do, I put a scratch on the silver lining. If I'm being honest, I've been lying. I wanna tell the truth, cause I'm sick of what I'm hiding. I've always done what I want. I know I've done my share of messing up. I got problems. I got problems.
Some might say that that's my theme song.
Oh, my goodness. Well,
I got problems. Mental problems. Squirrel!
if this is not the most radio-friendly song off this album, I mean, you could say there's a couple other ones here that might be up there.
If I remember correctly, when I heard this earlier today, this is about where the album loses me.
There's a couple other ones that might gain some traction after this, but really you're just like, wow, this is what we've come to with Papa Roach. This is not what I was expecting. This is, like I said, the most radio-friendly mainstream thing that I've heard from this band ever. And
we started talking about like how emo this sounds, and now all I can hear is her hair is everywhere, screaming infidelities.
Nope. What is that from?
Screaming Infidelities.
Oh, that's the name of the song?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you want to know
All right.
by
I'll
who?
look it up later. No reason for you to explain it now. Just
Okay.
let me go and I'll look it up later.
Nope, I'm already on my phone.
Oh, no. No, who sang it?
Screaming Infidelities.
I was screaming infidelities.
Dashboard Confessional.
Sounds like a band I've heard before, but I've...
Yeah, they're big among the emo crowd.
Okay. Well...
I'm missing your bed. I never sleep. Avoiding the spots where we'd have to speak. And this bottle of beast is taking me home. I'm cuddling close to blankets and sheets, but you're not alone and you're not discreet. Make sure I know who's taking you home. I'm reading your note over again. That's not a word that I comprehend, except when you signed it. I will always love you.
Do you
and
have to
forever.
actually read the whole song right now?
And as for now, I'm going to hear the saddest songs and sit alone and wonder.
People may not have heard the song and may want to be surprised when they actually listen to it.
How you're making out. And as for me, I wish that I was anywhere with anyone making out. Where does he? Where does he? Oh, finally! Wow, we still have more lines to go before he finally gets to the part that I wanted to read. Your hair is everywhere, screaming infidelities and taking its wear. You know how I know this? But why I'm familiar with the song?
Is it pubic hair?
No. Okay. So
well, I mean that's the only way I could think of. Like, oh my gosh, there's pubic hair here
no,
that and
no, it's about
that would scream infidelity to me.
No, it's about a breakup, and I believe the girl cheated on him. But because girls' hair...
Hence all the pubic hair all over the place.
It's not pubic hair, you gross thing, you.
Dude.
Melissa!
No, don't wake her up. Leave her be. Leave her be. There's no reason to bring her into this.
Anyway, it's her fault I know that song.
Oh, okay. All right.
And we would we would belt it at each other. But part of it is also like Melissa's hair tends to not her pubic hair. Don't you dare.
I wasn't, sir. It's
but
like
her
Medusa from the Inhumans. Is that what's going on? It's just
her top hair, her head hair, tends to fall out, and and it gets everywhere. Doesn't your wife's hair fall out and get everywhere?
Dude, I pulled one off my jacket this morning. I was like, "What the hell?" So yeah.
So that's what he means with like your hair is everywhere. Now the screaming infidelities part is about how I think she cheated on him before they broke up. Is what I remember. Is how I remember that song going.
Okay. All right. Well, again,
Dashboard Confessionals right here
I
on the Papa Roach podcast.
My theory fits, sir. But
about crotch rock.
Yeah, well, I think that if you just walked into a room and there was, pubic hair on the counter, you're obviously going to think something was up, and you would know maybe and it wasn't yours.
I feel like you need to hear this. I feel like we need to hear this song.
No, I feel like I don't.
I feel like you do.
Papa Roach is the album we're focusing on right now. I would suggest for everybody's sake that we just focus on that. What do you think?
Okay, why don't you go ahead and tell me in great detail what you thought of that last song?
Well, now he's mad. Now he's mad because he don't get to play his song. Damn you, Mark Rabbit. For a minute, I'd already told you it's the most accessible, radio-friendly thing I've heard. Problems, sir.
Tell me more.
I could tell you a little bit more about the album. I think Problems is one of the shorter songs here, and you can look at most of the tracks off this album, and the bulk of them, other than two, break 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
Tell me
Matt, Mark, what are you looking for? What are you doing here? You can go on. I don't know what the issue is. I'm sorry. I told you not to play the song. Play the song. I don't want to talk anymore.
What are your overall thoughts on Papa Roach?
Overall thoughts on the album, the band, or what?
The band. I want to hear all about your thoughts on Papa Roach so far. What is if you could sort of sum up this experience so far.
Let me tell you something. I listened to this album, Mark Radlich, all day. Okay, it's 8 minutes long, and it was on repeat on Spotify. I don't do that for every album. I only do that for albums that I can tolerate. And so right now, what I can tell you is this album was tolerable. This wasn't something where I was just like, I'll turn it off. This was like, okay, well, I could dig some of this. We're about to get to my first song at some point tonight, probably before midnight. But that's the next song that's coming up. And yeah, there you go, Mark. Yeah, I didn't hate the album so far. I think it's all right. You found fucking song. Here we go.
I never slip, avoiding spots, but we have to speak. And the bottle of beast is taking me home. I'm cuddling close to blankets and sheets, but you're not alone, and you're not discreet. Make sure I know who's taking you home. I'm reading your note over again, and there's not a word that I comprehend, except when you sign it, I will love you always and forever. missing your laugh. How did it break? And when did your eyes begin to look fake? I hope you're as happy as you're pretending. I'm cuddling close to blankets and sheets, and I am alone in my defeat. I wish I knew you were safely at home. I'm missing your bed. I never sleep, avoiding the spots. We'd have to speak, and this bottle of beast is taking me home. Well, as for now, I'm gonna hear the saddest songs and sit alone and wonder how you're making out. But as for me, I wish that I was anywhere with anyone making out. Your hair, it's everywhere, screaming infidelities and taking it somewhere. Your hair, it's everywhere, screaming infidelities and taking it somewhere.
That had to be done.
I'm defeated. I'm a defeated man. I don't know what else to say, sir.
What?
I can tell you I've never heard that song before, and now I can tell you that I have.
Yep.
I have listened to it.
Are you gonna be?
I'm
Are you gonna look around your office tomorrow? Look at all the women and go that they're screaming infidelities.
No, I don't know if I'll be doing that, but so does your wife listen to that music
Yeah.
a lot, like that type of music? Okay.
Yes, that's when we
All
got
right.
together. When we got together and she had interests.
Before she had kids.
Yeah. Did your wife have interest before she had kids, and then suddenly lost all her interests?
I don't know about all that. I mean, we're the homebody type where we're just like, okay, let's sit down and watch some TV. Luckily, children don't interfere too much with that.
Fair enough.
Okay, so yeah.
So yeah, when my wife had interest in tastes, she was big into the emo. I'm not entirely sure what she listens to. I'm pretty sure she just listens to whatever's on Kids Place Live on satellite radio. That's what she listens to these days.
You got to remember, I mean, I met my wife when I was 14.
Sure.
So we grew up together practically. So if I was interested in something, usually she was, and vice versa. And then, she kind of found her own stuff that she enjoys that I don't enjoy, and vice versa. She's not reading comics.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not watching Lifetime. So, typical Lanford family here at the Starcher household.
Absolutely. All right.
Are we getting back to it? Are we going back to it? Are we back to the podcast now?
You want to medley these last four?
Hey, I'm all for it, man. Let's rock and roll.
All right, let's do it. Here's a medley of Top of the World, I Suffer Well, Maniac, and Better Than Life. Here we go.
On top of the world, and never coming down. We're taller than giants. I scratch the surface of the truth till my hands bled. Rub my hands on my face, now my face red. War paint, more pain, I'm a warhead. Fake news, fake truth that was spoon-fed. I'm spinning in my head, can't believe nothing. I'm digging to the bottom till I feel something. If you're gonna buy the lie, then you got nothing. Better wave the white flag, there's a storm coming. This is for the dreamers, the believers. Put a noose around the neck of the deceiver. This is for the dreamers, the believers. And we're never gonna stop till we're dead. On top of the world. asking how to get here. Yeah, was I the life of the party? Was I a maniac? I try to remember, but nothing's coming back. Somebody call a doctor, better call the doctor, 'cause I think I'm losing it. Face first down this drain again. I think I'm losing it. Me like you mean it. Make me worship you, I'm a believer. Come erase the static in my head. Hold me close to your chest, like a secret you kept in the dark. Break me into pieces. Take away the breath, I'm barely breathing. I can feel you running through my blood, the adrenaline rush. Hits my heart like a drug. Lift me up. Make me feel like it's better than
All right, so I'm sitting here struggling with what to grade this album, and I keep getting A- in my head. I keep thinking, yeah, it's about an A- of a record. Problem is, it's like 3 or 4 tracks too long, and I feel like lack of editing has to drag down the grade. So we'll go with B+.
Man, 3 or 4 tracks too long for a 38-minute album.
Yep.
You got to think about yeah, that's rough. B+, you said.
Really? Did we need I Suffer Well on here? I mean, the whole album we've been talking about, like, oh, it's kind of got this weird combination of emo and 90s industrial, which I was enjoying. There's some really fun throws to rap metal on here, and all in all, you have an amalgamation of an interesting album that's not very samey, and is very poppy and positive, even though it's got some cynical messages. But I got bored by the end of it.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, I think that's fair. I think that's fair. In my opinion,
well, I'm sorry, and what I was trying to get to was, did we really need like a traditional punk song at the end? Like, really, I Suffer Well? That should have been like a
Wait a second. That's the reminder, sir. That's the reminder. That's their minute and 20-second reminder, or however long that fucking song is, that, hey, by the way, we used to be a hard rock / punk band. We got influence too. So, it's... Do we need it? No.
That's the equivalent of fucking Al Gore kissing his wife, on stage to kind of prove, like, hey, look, I fucked my wife, not fat interns.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it felt like it stuck out like a sore thumb. But again, I think they were just kind of trying to homage to what they were brought up on. And hey, so overall, by the way, Top of the World, probably my favorite song off of here, and it's a very guilty pleasure because it feels much like a rap / pop / metal thing.
That's the ninth song on here, and wouldn't the album have been much better and much better served if it just stopped there?
I feel you, sir. I really do. I mean, and what's strange is that last song, that Better Than Life, he actually censors himself from saying "fuck me like you mean it." When there's another song on here where he is screaming, "Yeah, motherfucker!" And I'm like, why did you have to do that with Better Than Life? I don't know if I have no idea. But either way, and Maniac, by the way, is, I think, the most Panic at the Disco-esque stuff off of here. But
we heard it already. Everything in Maniac and Better Than Life we heard in the previous song. Why not cut those in editing?
I hear you, sir. Well, okay. So my overall revisit to Papa Roach was interesting. Like I said, been a while since I've been here, and 19 years later, here I am coming back. And like I said, it wasn't what I expected. I didn't know what I expected really going into this, but this wasn't it. I will not say that it's a bad album, though. But I will tell you with absolute certainty that this is not a metal album. This is not. This is more like hard rock, pop, saturated album. I mean, that's about the best way.
Cannot
try that again.
Wait till we get to Bring Me to the Horizon.
Oh boy, pop saturated hard rock album is what I had listed here. Oh my, sorry Alexa. That has it has some songs with a metal flavor in it. It's a little dusting, like a little sprinkling of some metal shavings on the pop cake. How's that?
Little golden shower.
There, it could be gold. Gold's a metal. I'm all right with that. Let's not get R. Kelly in this biz. I just rather keep it the way it is. So either way,
you made it rhyme and it wasn't time.
I know, sir. Oh boy. Caleb came up to me this evening, and he's trying to make this wrap up, and I don't know what he's doing. I have no idea. But when he tries to rhyme the words, they do not rhyme at all. The kid's 8 years old. It doesn't rhyme whatsoever. And he's like, he drops it on us. He goes, "Oh," and I'm like, "Dude, that didn't fucking rhyme. That didn't rhyme, dude. What are you trying to do?" And then he tries to do it to his mom. He's like, "No, Mom, listen.
Give me an example of him trying to rhyme words. Did he try like brick and soft? He's like I want to hear.
It was very similar. It was like something that something about something gist. I don't even think it was gist. But either way, it would have been well preserved if the second line was something I'll break your wrist. But no, it was something stuff. I'm like, stuff and wrist or stuff and gist does not rhyme, dude. He's like, "No, listen. Like, we didn't get it, Mark."
You clearly could not recognize your son's genius.
Fuck me. Look at it. I don't know what the hell's going on. Either way, I don't. Anyway, so yes, I made a rhyme at one time. Caleb made a rhyme. It didn't make a fucking bit of sense. But either way, this definitely. We're only 2 albums into the new year here, so it's not getting high marks. It's not beating Soilwork in my opinion here. This is going to probably be. I don't think I'm revisiting this a whole lot. This will be something that I will listen to with my daughter, though. This is something I could feel like, okay, she would dig this. I kind of dig it. Let's, that kind of gives us some common ground there. But as for Metal Hammer of Doom albums, sir, right now, out of 2 albums, this is number 2.
Are you liking how we get close to the end of the album and I'm starting to run out of steam and I just go fuck it, we're medley in the rest of it?
You, sir, have solved your own problem of falling asleep on podcasts by ending the podcast as early as possible. So I think it's a very brilliant move, in my opinion. I don't mind it. I think it gets the podcast done in a quicker fashion, and we get to cover all the content that's there. I'm all for it.
I feel like once we've run out of shit to say, it's time to medley.
Agree.
All right, speaking of medleys, Mr. Toxic Masculinity, Pat Mullen, is everywhere you look, and tomorrow he'll be on a TV party tonight with me as we look at Fuller House Season 4. Kimmy Gibbler is carrying Stephanie's baby. Antics are going to ensue. DJ has chosen her beloved, or has she? We'll never know, because she's been fucking with these 2 guys for the previous 3 seasons. So, will she truly end up with Steve, or will she end up with Matt? We don't know, and that's why you need to watch Season 4 of Fuller House with myself and Mr. Toxic Masculinity, the punchy pugilist, Pat Mullen. The beat does not stop. I have booked myself on more podcasts than you can shake a fucking stick at this week. This Friday, we're very excited about this. We are going to bust Jesse's cherries. We like to bust his chops. Well, we're going to bust his cherry. The Friday night. Oh, my goodness. If my fucking calendar would cooperate with me.
I'm going neck deep into some Monty Python.
So we talked before about how Jesse is Moscow on the Hudson. He doesn't understand the references, you know.
No, I do not.
Jesse only started watching TV a few years ago, and it's and it's all the Orville and other Fox shows. But so he's never seen Monty Python and the Holy Grail. It's on Netflix, so we are using that as a great opportunity to make Jesse sit down and watch Monty Python and the Holy Grail, and then he too will understand when to throw the holy hand grenade. So we're going to do a TV party tonight extra as we watch the movie and comment on it. It's going to be difficult because you have to keep the volume on in order to get the jokes. But I can almost recite that movie by heart, so that'll be fun. I believe it's me, you, and Ronnie that are doing that, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, Chris Armstrong may possibly join us. That's not a definite, but if he does get to join us, all the more better.
Yep. And then we no longer have the 411 Ground and Pound radio show. It has moved to the exclusive property of the 411 Mania website. But we still have combat sports here. We're going to do a live commentary just like we did for Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury and Canelo and Triple G. We're going to do more live commentaries, and this weekend on Fox is Thurman versus Lopez, Premier Boxing Championships on Fox. The Punchy Pugilist and I, Pat Mullen, will do live commentary. And next week...
I just want to ask you real quick. Did you by chance see that horrible cut that happened on some dude's face in the boxing ring from over in, I think it was Sweden?
No.
Well, okay. Well, let's just say this. The only reason I know about that is the fact that somebody posted a picture of the referee, and the referee was completely his white shirt was red from his sleeves and torso down from how much this fucking boxer bled. And they didn't stop the fight. And he got he had 20 stitches after this shit was done. He had 20 stitches from the top of his head down to the start of his nose.
Yuck.
And yeah, I figured you would have at least seen some news stories pop up about that. Some crazy looking shit.
I mostly follow porn actresses on Twitter. So.
Okay. Well, bit of a different genre there. I
Porn?
apologize.
So my Twitter feed is nothing but people retweeting your podcast and tits.
The good boys over at Superblog Team Up helping us out. I like to hear that.
Yep. We were talking yesterday about the new What Men Want, which is a remake of What Women Want, but gender reversed.
Oh, yes.
And, Robert Winfrey made the point of saying, this is on our Glass review, but he made the point of saying, the whole point of What Women Want was, women think fun and interesting things, and, you can, it's fun to play with that because women can think a variety of things. I said, they're doing this with men. Men only think two things: tits, 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 tits. Now I'm hungry. That's it.
Boobs. Boobs.
Boobs. BEWBS. Boobs. All right. Speaking of boobs, next week we've got The Runaways. How'd that go, by the way?
It went well. It went well. It went very well.
Do you have a gag reel since I'm not there?
No gag reel, sir. It's all straightforward and actually getting to the topic. Can you believe that shit?
What a boring show. Oh, don't turn in this Monday then to The Runaways Volume 2. That show sucks.
Boo.
Boobs.
Boobs.
Boobs. And then, of course, on the 29th, we'll be doing a TV party for Runaways Season 2. They're homeless. They've got makeup on. They're painted tarts. They're the Runaways. Mm-hmm. Next week on the Metal Hammer of Doom, a little bit more metal, a little bit harder. Sal Ubiscato, formerly of Typo Negative, his band, his gothic metal band, The Pale Horse Named Death. We're going to look at it right in the mouth. We'll review that new album. And then, she turned on the buzzsaw. And then along came John. Slow talking John.
Why? What? Please stop. I don't understand.
What's the song?
You were in the middle of we were doing a plug for something.
Andrew Graham and his lovely wife from our Canadian office. Yeah, got it right that time.
Canadian and the Canadian
No,
audience.
if you'll remember audience is what I kept saying last time. He'll be joining me to talk The Crown Season 2. And then finally, we may or may not be doing another boxing commentary on February 2nd. We'll see what there is to see when there's time to see it. All right, that's all the plugs.
Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, go give the Rattlich Inn Broadcasting Network Facebook page a like to stay up on top of all the great podcasts that we have to offer. All sorts of great content. Mark just ran down a good bit of it there, so feel free to subscribe. If it's easy to find us, just go to any podcast platform. We're right at home on Spreaker, but you can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, Spotify, Deezer, all this great stuff. All you got to do is type in RADULICH, and you would be able to find just about you'd be able to find our network and subscribe to it, and then listen to it as everything gets released. That being said, Superblog Team Up. Just recently, we released a episode in conjunction with a bunch of other bloggers and podcasters out there on the topic, and the topic was redemption, where we had our special guest, Chris Bailey, show up, and he laid down what the Superblog Team Up is on that podcast, and he also joined us to talk about the redemption of Speedball when he turned into penance. So if you're a Speedball fan, check that out. It's the Source Material podcast, just released here this past Monday. But other than that, I am ready to get out of here. I'm ready to go home. Mark Rattlich, send us there.
And then along came Jones. Boom, 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 boom.
Jones.
Yes. I just sent you
thanks.
I
appreciate
that.
Thank you, sir.
It turned on the buzzsaw, and then along came Jones.
Bump.
So it goes like this. It goes.
Oh, no, you can end the show, and then.
And then he grabbed her, and then he tied her up, and then he turned on the buzzsaw, and then along came Jones. Boom, ba boom, ba boom, boom, boom.
Did Jones save him?
Jones, I believe so. Slow walking Jones. Along came lonely, lanky Jones.
Let's stop and get some context here. Explain how you came to this, okay? Just explain to us how you came to that song.
I was doing plugs.
No, I'm not talking about how we got to that point. That shit just doesn't happen out of thin air. You got to explain the context of the reference. Like, did you listen to the song when you was a kid, or what?
Yes.
Okay.
That's a song by the Coasters that got played on the 50 stations all the time.
Got it. All right. Very good. Well,
So,
we at least know where it came from.
If you're all out there wondering why is he like this, blame my fucking parents.
I was going to say, your parents are the reason for the season. Who do you trust?
you know, there's only one man you can trust, and that's Slow Talking Jones.
Apparently, because the buzzsaw gets turned on, if he shows up, the shit's on.
That's right. Shit's about to break.
Jeez.
All right. For me, for Jesse, for Slow Talking Jones.
Slow Talking Jones.
And Kerosene Bob and all of our neighborhood friends. We hope to offend you again in the future. Have a good night.